Okay, hey there, YouTube. So, it's easy to get caught up in technical details, but that also can be Zen, can be Zazen. It's a learning experience. Here's the problem that we've been given, that might have been given, the overperforming type of hyper achievement type of programming, is we need to learn how to slow down, but to look at what we're doing and not see that as trivial, because it's not. It's not trivial. Slow down and look at things. Stop thinking about things. All the agitatory things that make you angry, they weaken your ability to think. Everybody has a plan until somebody gets punched in the face, and then everybody loses their minds. Why is that? Well, look at chimpanzees. It happens to all different types of animals. Fear, panic, everything that can happen in the jungle, you can see it in animals that are scared. Have you ever seen a horse that got spooked by something? Just the whole body of the horse, it starts contriving in a manner that is not conducive to that horse's well-being, or to the rider, or to spectators or bystanders. Horses are dangerous because they're also living animals just like we are. They're susceptible to similar types of provocations. So if you're finding yourself being provoked all the time, you need to go into letting go mode. You need to be able to withdraw and reclaim space, which is free of agitatory nonsense or criminations, free of greed, ill will, and delusion. If we accept that on an individual level, we can accept that on a group level, which means we can also stop conflicts from the inside out, and that we're not striving to take things from other people. However, it is not good to not have self-defense. It's not good to be bullied. That's not good. Being weak is not good. See, this is a cultural inversion. Weakness is good and moral. Defending yourself against attackers is not good. It's sort of, they make the inference, but that's not true. Attackers are weak people. They're weak mentally. And they end up biting off more than they can chew because they've just attacked too many people at once. That's how they lose. So, but if you're angry all the time and you're being distracted with agitatory groups or agitatory matters, you're not effective. You're misdirected, and your agitation is a sign that it's not a good thing. But they're doing it because you're participating in that program. So you can pull back, let go, right? Dukkha dukkha nirodha, just let it go. Anything that's been bothering you. And this includes toxic historical narratives. We've seen it just in the last few days. They pull these narratives out of a box. Like we could pull up anti-Napoleonism, for example, just for the sheer history of it, and then start blaming people. But that is not a wise strategy. It's not a wise strategy on an individual level. It's not a wise strategy on a geopolitical level. So the people that think that's a good idea, they actually have a bad idea. So, but this is what inversion is all about. They'll try to sell you the bad idea. Okay, that's how you see them. So, but let's also just say that this was a gigantic mistake, that people thought they were going to win by doing very bad things, and now they're seeing that they're going to lose. Certain people can just go away, and new people can come in with a new mentality, which is embracing mutual cooperation, reciprocity, fairness, and calm. But see, if you show a warlike party weakness, they'll take the warlike path. So they don't think they need to negotiate because they think they're winning. They think they're going to ultimately win with their cultural programs. So we used to have these nations, but now we have private companies, right? People just doing things. Oh, that's civilian. No, it's not. These people have a civilian program, and the civilian program is not good for you and yours, but it is good for them if they can roll you right over with their military. Which is, again, these people thought they were that far along to do it. Their military is crap. So will that remain that way? I mean, they're starting off bad, but if they notice that they need that, why wouldn't they double down on that position too? So being weak, in other words, grows bad. So being weak is not good. So I'm sorry. You've got to really watch these moralists. They're pulling things out of the past, equating moral principles to them, and then equating those moral principles to current policy that is unwise and perhaps a little bit self-enriching, perhaps, rather than strategically sound. Because anybody can saw the limbs that they're sitting on straight off and fall into the abyss. It's a human problem. It's not even a political problem. That's why this is a comedy. It's not a tragedy. So, but see, even by engaging in the vicinity of these people, you're building a bridge of aversion, when in fact there should be no connection at all at disreputed positions, which their positions are. So that's their problem. If they didn't figure that out yet, but maybe they're just pretending to be modern because that they're part of the warlike party's comprehensive strategy. So that's not military people, that's lawyers, public relations people, people doing commercials, people in film, people in radio, just private people, right? Doing private things that are extremely catastrophic in their results, social and moral and cultural results. So yes, you can see it, but what you need to do is make the connection to their war effort, because they're interconnected, they're interrelated, they're the same thing. So you've got the private and the military and the national, right? Because who's running these cities too? Like with these mayors, and wherever you see ghettos and places, just crime-ridden deserts, they're active. That's it. Worldwide. You could be in Brazil, you could be in Cuba, you could be in Angola. That's where they are. Now again, how competent are these people? They know how to rob people. They know how to rule with impunity. They know how to rig elections, perhaps, but they don't know how to run countries or militaries or anything good, really. It's just they've got fish in a barrel that they can just pull out at any time, like cucumbers, just to satiate their self-appreciation, like tyrannical people, in other words, that aren't interested in sharing any type of power, type civic societies, like where court is a joke. Instead of, here's the thing, I don't want to attack what is just openly bad. What's the point? It's like, I want new systems, like new ways. Okay, first of all, transparent, embedded people that get even close to the political process. So you need to have some type of social mechanisms for that. That cannot be hijacked. You have to be looking for the hijack, because that's what they're looking for. If they find it, they'll use it. They've done it. I would say they had a jump on us. They have a jump on us, but that doesn't mean it's gonna stay that way, because this is now a worldwide conflict. So some people that would never have gotten on board with that, or fast enough, the ghettoization, they decide, okay, let's just get rid of them. There's too many of them, but there's not too many of them, and there really are too many of them. Like we're talking about, Chinese are on board, Indians are on board, Brazilians. Oh, and now South Africa. Isn't that funny? They were working all the same time for the same basically government model. This is super rich, get everything, and everybody else just is thrown to the dogs. or you work according to their ideological mandates and you don't question it. Otherwise, you're filtered out. It's ideological compliance. The metal smelting factories of the mind that you need to be on board with to get a job. So that's also don't get caught up in historical terms. Communism didn't start off that way, but it became that, and it became that because these people were managing it that way. Or to put it another way, they were the unintended side effects of impunity and just avarice that was not trust inspiring, because you could classify it as a criminal shakedown. You could say all these people get everything, everyone else gets thrown to the dogs, versus the ideals of Thomas Jefferson, for example, where we have a strong, vibrant, secure cultural community that does great things all around the world and live great lives and do great things. All I have to say is James Webb Telescope. So how did we get there? And let's start rethinking that whole model and realizing that people can't finance that out of pocket. So the whole financial industry needs to be re-architected. How this all law, we can have that run on AI. All law, all these lawyers gone, the whole cast of them. So no bankers, no lawyers. We have machines that do that now. And yes, we do need to look into it. We should have some stopgaps, but not too many. There were too many stopgaps in these old systems that allowed them access to them. And now they're there. Like I said, nearly dominant on the civilian side. And nobody's seeing the connection between the two when they started those operations before the military operation. And they did it on a civilian, they did it in the civilian sector, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. I think people like Ukrainians, I'm glad to have them on my side. And Poles and Finns and everybody. The UK, hell yeah. UK. United States of America. Those are friends. Real friends, at least they were. Now who's running around waving the flag? And see, this is the thing, I want to tell all Russians, the same model could be introduced in Russia. I don't think there should be too much centralization. I think we need to cultivate good people with good words and good deeds. And then guess what? We have all the benefits of that. The electricity works, the sewage works, the healthcare systems where people are not dying of syphilis and cholera again, like they are in different places of the world. What do you think is happening or will happen in India when everything breaks down there? Or China, when that whole thing blows up like a rotten pumpkin, okay? It's going to be bad, but that doesn't mean it can't be rebuilt with new systems that work for the people living there. Why not? What a great gift that is. I thought that was the idea of the EU in the first place, that you would bring some experts in to do consulting, how to integrate systems with common values, like not starting wars, for example, with people that are just completely operating with complete impunity in bold contradiction to international law. So we need to come back also to the concept of law. We do not need to be over-regulating people. This is also what they did. These regulators, what do? Oh, well, we have to regulate it to justify our existence. And when they have their leadership, they stupefy all innovation in industry and everything else because it's just too damn complicated, too much red tape, right? They don't understand it. They're red tape machines. But we don't need more red tape. We need less. What led to the explosion in the United States, like culturally? Homesteading. Like, here, you got free land. We're not going to mess with you. We're actually glad to have you on our side. That was given like food and protein to orchards or how do you want to call them? Clover. All right. The whole place bloomed. Mostly. That doesn't mean there were not incidents. It was a rough rough time for many, many centuries. How about that? And the same thing happened on the Asian side. You go across Alaska into that area, Siberia, that's where the ancients were. That's where the Buddha was. That's where the Scythians were. Altai Mountains and places like that. Back and forth on horses. So the world is not perfect. It's not what we want, but it can be cultivated. So you can make the connection, the natural connection between spiritual cultivation and external cultivation. The garden as a metaphor. You cultivate a garden and you have to weed. It's just the way it is. And it's not bad if you get into it and apply Zazen to the process with complete neutrality. So is insight good? Yes. Well, is this insight? Well, yes. Well, what is right effort? When combined with right insight, well, there you have good results most likely. Your probability goes closer to 100%, the more closer to infinity those other two things are. And yet again, there is also a possibility for delusion, which is why we have these idealists that have a fake inverted idealism. Their whole utopian worldview is a complete fabrication that they think they're working towards. So they need to be identified and filtered out. Like they're just not cut out for the jobs that they should be fulfilling. But getting back again, why go through these institutions? Just pull the plugs on them. Start over with a better set of concepts. Or just start now, how about that, with these better concepts. And cultivate going forward and see what happens in that way. And realize there's going to be some possible bad developments. You might have to come back 3 steps and go forward another 10 just because you thought this and that. But putting AI to law, and also here, finance industry, AI, all of that. Computers, right? We don't need fiduciaries that aren't very fiducious in between decisions that they claim as influence for themselves, and that's the corruption in the joints right there. That's the fraud. That those are if there's 1,000 of those pieces, even if 2 people do it, can bring down the entire. For example, legal justice system, at least regionally. So think regionally. Think in terms of regions. Don't think in terms of nations. Have they penetrated these systems? Yes, yes or no? Who are they? Who are they affiliated with? Start asking some more cynical questions, because again, results speak for themselves. So bad results, that means bad policy and most likely bad people. So but it might not be so. So don't even blame them. Just say, hey, look, I don't like what there's all the potatoes are poison. So. Or just leave. Like, don't have a confrontation. Just say this place ain't working. This farm is inverted. It's producing horrors, aesthetic horrors, and also cleverly tailored scripts that, again, public relations people, perhaps very good ones, have composed to scramble people's affiliations and unities. So yeah, that's just the way it is. This is the world it is. It's not the world we want. But cultivation doesn't stop in any one place. And so that's the way to think of it, as a combination. Let's get back to the Hegelian, Schelling, Hölderlin-like idealism that does help the individual self-actualize, because it's better for us all as a whole when we run the numbers. You reverse that process, you're going to die out as a people. That's it. So you can translate what I just said into all Indo-European languages, including Pali, and we'd say, oh, that's impossible, but that is possible today. So there are cards on the table that weren't there before. So start playing like the experts that I know some of you are, because this thing, I see us on the winning side, even if individually some of us will not see it. It's a play. It's called victory. Thanks for listening.